What role do rational number ratios play in music theory? Imagine a world where music sounds perfectly harmonious, all because of simple math. That's what rational number ratios do in music theory. They help explain why some notes sound good together and others do not. When two notes are played at the same time, their frequencies, or how fast sound waves vibrate, create an interval. If the ratio of these frequencies is a simple fraction made of whole numbers, the sound is usually very pleasing. For example, a ratio of 2:1 means the higher note vibrates twice as fast as the lower one. This is called an octave and is the most familiar interval in music. Another common ratio is 3:2, which makes a perfect fifth. This interval is very stable and sounds very natural to our ears. A ratio of 5:4 creates a major third, which is important in forming major chords. These ratios are called rational because they are fractions with whole numbers in the numerator and denominator. Musicians use these ratios to tune their instruments in what is called just intonation, where the notes are tuned so their frequency ratios are exact. This makes the music sound pure and harmonious. In contrast, modern Western music often uses equal temperament tuning. Here, the octave is divided into 12 equal parts, which means the ratios are no longer exact but approximate. These approximate ratios are irrational numbers, which are not fractions. From an algebra point of view, these rational ratios are positive rational numbers. When you combine intervals, you multiply their ratios, which is a basic algebra operation. This helps musicians build chords and scales by stacking these ratios. Some intervals involve larger numbers or prime numbers like 7, which give a different, more unique sound. These are less common but appear in different musical styles and traditions. So, rational number ratios are the foundation of how music is created and understood. They show us the clear, simple relationships between notes that make music sound pleasant. Learning about these ratios helps us see how math and music are connected, making the study of rational numbers more fun and real-world.